Here's the solution for day 4, problem 1. A tub can be filled with hot water in 8 minutes and cold water in 6 minutes. It can be emptied through a drain in 4 minutes. If the drain is left open and both faucets are turned on, how long does it take to fill the tub? This is a work problem where the work that is referred to is the work of filling up a bathtub. So I think the formula W equals rate times time is going to get used. Now there are 3 things mentioned that have a rate of speed: the hot water faucet, the cold water faucet, and the drain. Let's take some notes about the rate of speed for each of these. If the hot water can fill the tub in 8 minutes, then its rate of speed is 1/8 of the tub per minute. If the cold water faucet takes 6 minutes to fill up the tub, then it can fill 1/6 of the tub per minute. And if the drain can drain the tub in 4 minutes, then it can drain 1/4 of the tub each minute. The question is, how long does it take in minutes to fill up the tub? Let's represent that unknown amount of minutes with the variable t. And let's use our formula, work equals rate times time. In place of W, we're going to substitute 1, meaning filling up 1 tub. Then we'll add together the amount of work from the hot and cold water faucets, but then subtract the work done by the drain. So the hot water faucet is 1/8 times T. Now add the work done by the cold water faucet. It is 1/6 times T. And now subtract the work done by the drain. 1/4 times T. Here's an equation that has fractions. So the technique is to multiply all terms by the LCD. If this denominator is 8, 6, and 4, then the lowest common denominator is 24. Let's multiply all spots by 24. "24 times 1 is 24. Right here, 8 goes into 24 3 times, and 3 times t is 3t. In the middle, 6 goes into 24 4 times, and 4 times t is 4t. And on the end, 4 goes into 24 6 times, and 6 times t is 6t. We can solve this equation by combining like terms. We have 24 equals 1t. T is representing the amount of time to fill the tub, so we should include the unit minutes along with our 24. Day 4, problem 2. We're asked to solve this equation and it has fractions. So we want to multiply everything by the LCD. But before we find the LCD, we need to have this denominator in factored form. So our first step is to factor all the polynomials. Let's rewrite this first fraction as 5 over 2 times t plus 3. This numerator does not factor, and this denominator does not factor. However, I can save a couple steps of work in the future if I rewrite this subtraction as an adding, and I take the inverse of this binomial, 2t minus 1. What I'm saying is that if you subtract 1 minus 2t, that is equivalent to adding 2t minus 1. Now let's figure out what the LCD is. In the denominator, there's a 2 here and a 4 over here. The LCD of a 2 and a 4 is a 4. This first fraction has a t plus 3 factor. That's in the LCD. But this fraction here has just a plain old t. That's in the LCD. So the LCD consists of these 3 factors. Let's multiply all terms by that LCD. So right here by the 5, we're going to times by 4, t plus 3 times t. And then this 2t minus 1, we're going to multiply by the 4, t plus 3, and t. And then the 2, we're going to multiply by 4, t plus 3, t. We're multiplying all parts by our LCD. The reason for doing that is so that things cancel away. The 2 goes into the 4, leaving 2. The t plus 3 cancels the t plus 3. Over on this part, the 4 cancels the 4. The t cancels the t. Now let's multiply these numerators together and write the result down on the paper. So 5 times 2 times t makes 10t. Here in the middle, we have this binomial times this binomial. We do that using FOIL. 2t times t is 2t squared. 2t times 3 is 6t. And then negative 1 times t is negative 1t. Those combine to positive 5t. Negative 1 times 3 is minus 3. On the right side, we need to multiply all of these together. 2 times 4 is 8, times t is 8t, and that 8t will get times to the t plus 3, making 8t squared plus 24t. This equation has no fractions left. Because it is a quadratic equation, highest exponent of 2, we can get a 0 on the right side and then use factoring. So let's subtract the 8t squared from both sides and subtract the 24t from both sides. 2t squared minus 8t squared is negative 6t squared. 10t plus 5t is 15t. When you subtract 24t from 15t, you have negative 9t left over. Then there's that minus 3, and on the right side is equal to 0. Let's divide all terms by negative 3 to reduce them. Negative 6t squared divided by negative 3 makes 2t squared. Negative 9t divided by negative 3 makes positive 3t. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 makes positive 1. Now let's factor the trinomial using FOIL. 2t times t, and then 1 times 1. Because this is a positive sign, put a positive here and here. Now solve inside both parentheses. The answer for the first set of parentheses is t equals negative 1/2. The answer for the second set of parentheses is t equals negative 1. If we look at the original problem, both answers are okay. They're not the restricted values for t.